Toastmasters today?
Okay, so we're just missing a timer?
Toastmaster, okay.
Just missing a timer, and if we want a watcher, we could get a watcher, but the timer is more important.
Let's see.
I can do timer. It's just somebody has to time me when I do evaluator.
Okay.
Okay, that'd be perfect. Okay, let's get started. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Nice to,
Happy Friday.
yes, nice to see everybody. And welcome back, Angeles. And she just took a dive and is going to be doing one of our roles today. So exciting about that. And we're also excited to have Kathy join us. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
If you wouldn't mind sharing with us what brings you here, we'd love to hear your little story as far as how you heard about us.
Well, I heard it from Stacy, and I heard about it a few months ago when we were all, I think it was before COVID, when we were all at the NC Win, and I was interested. I work full-time for surgical surgery centers. I work from home, and then I also have my Mia Bella candle business. And so then Stacy and I connected again when we took some classes this past week. So she told me about it, and I thought, well, here I am. I live in Oceanside.
Ooh, so do I. Hello, neighbor.
Yeah, I'm in Oceanside too, so great.
Yay.
Hi, Corey. Thank you for joining us, Kathy.
Thank you. I'm going to listen, right? I don't have to do any work right now. So, is there an initiation?
We don't admit to that. We just show up at your house unexpectedly.
Oh, I love it. I have a few dishes to be done, so we can all help.
There you go. Many hands make for light work.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I wanted to just do a recognition. It's been a while since we actually did a formal recognition, but I wanted to at least show who have completed their paths. And Devin used to have a poster, an excellent poster, and she still has it. Once we meet again, we'll be able to show it. But I wanted to let you guys see where we are right now. And Anita finished her first level, yay! So the yellow tells you that they finished a specific level within their path. And Angel, she finished her advanced communication bronze, a huge achievement.
Gold, no, silver.
Oh, silver. Silver. Let me just change that right now, silver, which is higher than a bronze. Okay, and then I completed level 2. Debbie completed level 1. Devin, look at Devin. Devin goes to far to the right. She completed 4 levels. Today she's going to start on 5. And then let's see, we have Jessie who finished level 1. Lisa finished her gold, her advanced communication gold. Lucille goes the farthest to the right. Lucille's always setting such an excellent example for us. She finished all levels, level 5. So she completed her path. And right now she's on another journey. And Megan, we have Megan finishing at level 1. Awesome job, Megan. And Pat also is finished level 2. And Paul finished level 1. So very, very, very excited about that. And for those of you who are new, when you sign up, you get to pick a path that you want. And there's 11 different paths. And basically they cover different areas. It all depends on what you want to accomplish. Do you want to accomplish leadership skills? Do you want to be a better storyteller? Do you want to be more persuasive? There's all these different choices. So you get to pick which path you want and follow that path, and that's how you kind of achieve the completion of the Toastmasters. You can go as far and wide as you want. All right, and I also want to let you know that we have a speech contest coming up, and we were looking at September the 18th to be our day for the speech contest, and anybody that has completed 3 speeches is eligible to participate in the contest. And this is our own club speech contest. And once you're the winner, there's going to be 2 winners. There's 2 different categories, international, and I'm not sure of the second category, but the winners of those categories then go to the area speech contest, and then you compete amongst other Toastmaster clubs within the local area of Southern California. And then those winners, of course, go all the way up until international. Toastmasters is around the globe. So it's very exciting how you can move on up. And I got an email from Diane Abrams, who is our area director. And she said that the area speech contest will be sometime in early November. So I wanted to ask you guys, originally we were looking at September 18th. Do you want to move it to October for the speech contest, or should we keep it in September? Does anybody?
I
Yeah,
don't care.
I think
Don't care. It's all the same. We don't even know what day it is. So who cares?
I think
Yeah.
October would be better, because then whoever does their speech in October would be closer to November, so they would have it fresher
Yeah.
in there.
Okay. I'm thinking October might be good, because in September they're gonna have training for how to orchestrate the contest. They're gonna have a speech chair training in September. And I'm thinking if we participate in the training, that will give us some ideas on how to orchestrate our own local speech contest, implement that so that it goes a little bit more smooth, because typically it's in person versus virtual. So if we were to do it October, how does the first Friday of October sound?
That's my
That sounds-
birthday.
That's your birthday.
I think so.
I know you're one of the contestants. You want to do that. You want to be the one of
Well,
the.
you know, last year I won, but then I ducked out because they wanted to have the contest too early in the morning. So I don't want to put you in that position again. I mean, it's a little easier if you only have to crawl out of your bedroom, I suppose. But I was just trying to check before I put my name in the hat that I don't have to start at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m.
Okay.
This
So
is
do
early
you-
morning for me, in case you didn't know.
Okay. So are we looking? Do you want to do the first Friday of October, or do we want to do the second week?
Well, the second Friday.
Second Friday? Any opposition for second Friday? Second Friday is pretty good? Okay, all right, sounds good. And I am gonna go ahead and post the roll sheet. So if you guys wouldn't mind filling out spots for next week and the upcoming weeks, that'd be great. And while I do that, I am gonna turn this over to our Toastmaster, Super Toastmaster and Super Table Topics Master, Stacy. So if we can all welcome Stacy, and for you new folks, we do this, which is the yeah, it's like it'd be like clapping if we were in person. So please welcome Stacy.
Thank you very much, Deanna. Today I am filling a couple of roles. I'm going to be the Toastmaster and decided to also topics, or actually it happened the vice versa way, said that backwards. So anyway, welcome to our club. I really am happy to see everybody that's here. We only have one role that's not filled. I believe it's the watcher, and it's not a real big deal, but if somebody wants to volunteer, I think Corey came in. Angel, want to do watcher?
I always watch, so I don't mind.
Okay.
Corey just
like-
raised his hand.
Oh, Corey
Oh,
did?
Yeah.
Okay. Corey, so Angel, you do have another role
Yes.
or no?
I'm evaluating everything.
That's right, general evaluator. Okay. I haven't caught up with my notes. So I'm going to go down and name everybody and ask some of them to explain what their role means. So because we have a guest, Kathy, today. So I'm going to start with the all counter. And the all counter is Angela.
Yes, that would be me.
Okay. Do you know what to say?
I mean, from what I was told, I would just be counting like the ahs, ums, ers, you knows, and let you guys know at the end or something.
Okay, that's good enough. Thank you. Okay, our grammarian is Lucille. Would you like to explain what the grammarian does?
As grammarian, I will watch for the use of the word of the day, which is complexity, during the table topics portion of the meeting. And then I will also watch for any creative use of words as well as grammatical use. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the next position is the timer. Pat, would you like to explain what the timer does?
Yeah. Oh, hi. My name is Pat. I will be the timer, and I will keep track of the time for the speakers, the evaluators, and the table topics people. I will just measure when they're getting close to their allotted time. There's usually a green for they met the minimum, yellow for you're halfway through the allotted, the extra time, and then red is you have usually like 10 to 20 seconds to wrap up. So that's what the timer does, and I will hopefully figure out to put the green screen and the yellow screen and red screen too.
Okay.
The speaker notice.
Thank you, Pat. Is that it? Okay, our general evaluator is Angel. Would you like to explain what you do?
Thank you, Stacey. Yes, my name is Angel. I am going to introduce the people who evaluate our two speakers today, and I will also give a report at the end of the meeting.
All right. Thank you. Moving right along. Our watcher is Corey. Basically, Corey, do you want to say what you're doing?
Sure. Thank you, Stacy. Good to see you, Kathy and Lawrence. That's cool. As a watcher, I'm going to be watching everybody to see what their presence is on camera, and I'll be making notes and comments at the end of the meeting.
Excellent. All right. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce our joke master, Jerry. You have a joke
Thank you,
ready?
Stacy.
You're welcome.
Okay, here, this one's for Angel. Why do we tell actors to break a leg? Because every play has a cast.
Oh,
Well, I'm walking much better now. Thank you for indirectly asking. I'm hobbling around a fair bit now.
All
Very
right.
funny.
Nice to hear that.
all right. Great joke, Jerry. At this point, I'd like to introduce our speaker, our first speaker. And the title of our first speaker, well, first I'll say it's Devin. Devin is going to speak. I hear some feedback. Could everybody please mute themselves if they're not speaking soon? Okay, maybe it was Megan. Oh, and there's Lawrence. Hi, Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Devin. Her title of her speech is Distinguished President. Her project is Level 5, Project 2, and Leading in Your Volunteer Organization. The objectives of her speech or project is to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. After the 6-month term, deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech at a club meeting to reflect on your personal experience. For the timer, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. So let me introduce Devin, Distinguished President Devin. Welcome.
Never say never. As I was preparing this talk, that kept popping into my head as the possible subtitle to this presentation, because when I think back on where my journey started, that's what I said. So when I joined Toastmasters in July of 2016, I had signed up on the recommendation of my bosses for as the way to achieve my career goals that I had set. They said, this is the place to be. I said, okay, I'll do the 10 speeches in the manual, but I will never be a club officer. I was like, not interested. I don't have time for that. It wasn't my area of interest. And we all have seen how that turned out. So I think what I love about Toastmasters is that it does push you out of your comfort zone, and it gets you to try things that you thought you didn't want or that you couldn't do. So I really enjoyed kind of taking some time to reflect back on this journey. Kind of the timing really worked out perfectly for me because this is my last speech in my path. So I'll be finishing my first Pathways path today. And we also just passed the baton of being president on to Deanna. So it was really kind of great timing to kind of think, how did I get here? How did it go? What lessons did I learn? So that's what I'm going to share today. A little bit of, how I approached being president, and then also what lessons I took away from it. When I was approached about being president, I was hesitant because I had one really big concern, and that was my time. So at that point, we were still, traveling for work, and I did a lot of events, and they often conflicted with our meeting time. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to be at every single meeting, and I was worried that wouldn't be the best thing for the club. We are lucky to have some long-term Toastmasters, so Lucille and Paul, that I took the concerns to, but they reassured me that, we know everybody has commitments outside of this. And the reason we have a board of officers is so that we can help each other and support each other. So they said the benefits will outweigh any time that you can't be there. So I agreed to do it, and I'm glad I did, because I did learn a lot. But starting out, I wanted to kind of think about what kind of president did I want to be. And I'm fortunate enough to know several other Toastmasters from other areas of the country. So I went to them and asked, kind of, what advice would you give for a new president? And there was one person who said something that really stuck with me and stood out. And what she said was that ultimately the goal of the president is to support all the other officers and members' goals. That's your main job, to make sure everybody else achieves their goal. So when I thought about it that way, I thought, okay, I can do that. I like to be encouraging and supportive and help others. So that's kind of the approach that I took to being president. It was just, what can I do to help everybody else? And the ultimate goal that Toastmasters sets for us at the club level is the President's Distinguished Award. And so I said, okay, we'll focus on that, because if we achieve that, that's going to translate to every member of our club, every officer of our club. And if we're trying to be President's Distinguished, I want to be a distinguished president. So what I did was try to focus on, this was the beginning of Pathways. So how do we encourage people to get on board with a new program, try to make it fun? Deanna mentioned the chart. Thank you. I don't know if you guys all loved it, but I thought it was fun to have a visual way to see how the whole club was progressing and moving forward, and just kind of acknowledge the effort that it takes, because we're all here to learn and get better. And then after that, it was just asking people. And I think one of the big benefits that you get from being president is you get to know each individual member a lot more. So I was able to connect all the new members and guests. You're able to connect with them. You also get a lot of practice of speaking, because you have to open and close every meeting. So that helps too in the overall confidence levels. But I'll tell you the biggest lesson that I learned in the process, and that is balance. And this is something that I'm trying to learn and implement in all areas of my life. But when I started, I had all of these ideas, but I had this much time to implement. So it was trying to learn what can we do in the time we have and being okay with letting the other stuff go and knowing that it wasn't going to be perfect. With a volunteer organization, it's a little more challenging than if you were in a business setting because everybody has a bunch of other commitments. So every member, every officer has a job, has a family, has other organizations they belong to. So it was kind of knowing, what's a reasonable request of time for both myself and asking others to do things and focusing on what's going to get the most benefit for the club as a whole. And then just, again, being okay with letting go the other things and being okay with not being perfect, which I think is a lesson that Toastmasters does teach us all, that it's more about the trying than about the doing and making sure everything perfect. And then the second thing that I really took away is in a volunteer organization, it doesn't matter how wonderful a leader is unless you have a team and members who want to be there. And I think we have a fantastic club. We have members that are engaged and interested, and you have all stepped up. I think the pandemic really brought a lot of this into focus, and we had people that embraced change, and I really appreciate that. So if you are in a position where you're thinking, no, never want to be an officer, I would encourage you to maybe take a second, look at it, think about it, because the benefits are tremendous and it's a wonderful club to be a part of. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Devin. Let's give her a couple of hands. I would like to allow 1 minute for speech evaluations. So what we do for our guest, Kathy, is, and you don't have to do this because you're just visiting unless you want to, is to give some feedback to Devin and say what you loved about her speech. Also what you think you heard that you liked, and also something that she could improve on. Just keep it pretty simple. So I'll allow another, say, a minute or so. Okay, finishing up, about 10 seconds. Okay, everybody done? Pencils down? I'm going to introduce our second speaker of the day, Anita, and she's been moving right along with her speeches. This one is a Persuasive Influence Path Level 2, Project 1. Her objective is to share some aspect of her leadership style or discuss styles in general. For timer, her time is 5 to 7 minutes. I'd like to introduce Anita. The title of her speech is Great Leaders, Made or Born. Great Leaders, Made or Born. Anita.
It helps if I unmute myself. Thank you, Stacy. So are great leaders made or born? I have some slides to share, so we're going to try this and let's see how it works. Can you see? Okay. Vince Lombardi says leaders are made and not born. In fact, he goes on to say that leaders are made by hard effort, and anything that we get worthwhile is made by hard effort. All of us have served as leaders at one time or another, either in business or personally. And so I was interested to see what Toastmasters had to say about my leadership style. They said I had the democratic style, and I was okay with that. I thought I'm pretty democratic, but you know, this isn't all the styles, right? I used to work for a woman, and we had a conversation about her style, and she agreed her style was the style of chaos. I don't recommend that. And back to all of these styles, a good leader does not stay in one box. They are not just one of these styles. They mix and match the styles that work for them, to come up with a unique style for their own. And it's good to define their style, though, because then they have a top-down view and they can change it to whatever situation comes up. More than styles, I think it's the qualities that are important. And I got these 8 qualities from Toastmaster materials and also from a Forbes 2018 article. Every single one of them is very, very important to the success of a leader. Communicator, enthusiastic, open-minded, integrity, loyalty, decisive, confident, and charisma. And the cool thing about these is if you understand them, you can work on the ones that you're weak in and become even a better leader. They're so important. Let me give you an example. I worked at one point for a little startup company, and the owner was strong in several of these. But when I realized that he didn't have the integrity that I thought he should have, I left. I couldn't follow him. Or do you know of any people that have a difficult time communicating? Can you imagine them as a leader? Or maybe you have known some leaders that are that have difficulty in communicating. It's very hard. And so these are so important, but there are so many other parts to a great leader. What else is it? Does anybody know Kelly Cardenas? He's a local successful businessman, and he speaks all over the world about strong leadership and building a strong company. And what he says, the cornerstone is for the leader to set a culture and intentionally set it. But before they can set the culture, they must figure out what their purpose is or their why. I'm not talking about your goal for tomorrow. I'm talking about your legacy for personal or business or combined. And once that is figured out and identified, then the leader should intentionally set the culture so that everything that comes into that flows in and down towards that goal. Now, taking it a step further, there is a series of books called the Go-Giver series. And these authors believe that in order to receive, you must give. For instance, if you give value, you receive value. Loyalty, loyalty. Leadership, leadership. Now that sounds counterintuitive to me, but they define leadership as empowering others. And it kind of actually makes sense. They call this a leadership style, and it's the servant leadership style. And they're not saying that a person should stay just in this style, but it should be a part of their unique style that a leader forms. But they believe every successful, great leader has this style. Now, there's another book I'd like to mention. I read it about 6 months ago. And this author talks about building a strong company. And to build a strong company, normally you need a strong and good leader. And this person we all know, Corey Murphy. And I love the word aloha anyway. You might be able to tell on my wall. But he takes it all down, strips off everything down to the basic. And in an eloquent way, he says the true definition of aloha is not about what you can get, it's about what you can give. It's not about you. And this is a true, great leader. So my challenge is for you to think about your unique style. Have you defined it? And what kind of changes do you need to make? And think about your strong attributes, and then what are your weak attributes that you can actually work on to strengthen? Have you thought about your purpose lately? And do you intentionally set the culture to support your purpose? And are you a giver? Vince Lombardi, great leaders and worthwhile goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. So take a minute to fill out a little evaluation for Anita and give her some feedback. And I got the actual wording from Deanna. What did you like about the speech? Comments about the speaker's presence and tips for improvement. About 10 more seconds. Okay, can we get a timer's report from Pat? How the speakers did.
Both of the speakers qualified.
Great. Keep in mind who you would like to vote for, and you eventually will send your votes to Jerry when we get through the evaluations and the table topics. We'll just send all the votes at once. I think that's the best way. And at this point in time, I'd like to introduce evaluator Angel. You have to unmute.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our first evaluator, Pat, who will be evaluating Devon's final speech. Take it away, Pat.
You're muted, Pat. You have to unmute.
Sorry. Take two. Devon, I really loved your speech. Had a great opening phrase, never say never. It really pulled us into the speech. It was well rehearsed. I didn't see any notes or anything. You had very good transitions. It was organized very well. I noticed the transitions were like, okay, I can do that. The President's Award, I want to be awarded as a president or something about that. Balance and giving. I liked how you ended with about like sort of what Anita talked about, being of service. Your presence was very, very confident, very professional, sincere. You had good facial expressions. You know, I could see you were a little animated about what you learned. Tips for improvement. The only thing, I mean, it was hard to find anything, honestly. The only thing I could find was maybe some bullet points or something. Like when for me, I like to start a speech like, I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. You know, 3 things maybe. But I know you talked about what you want to volunteer, about volunteering, what goals you had, what you learned, and then the conclusion, value of giving. But overall, it was a very well done speech. Thanks.
Thank you, Pat. And both our speeches today were on the topic of leadership. Anita's speech will be evaluated by Deanna. So please welcome Deanna.
Thank you. Anita, great job. I like your title, first of all, saying great leaders, born or made. You made us think about it. That was a question. And then when you first started your speech, you just hit us and told us Vince Lombardi says that they're made. They're not born. So I like how you started that. I also like how you read the bullet points, because on that one slide where there was a lot of attributes of a leader, it was too much for us to read, but I liked how you just read right through them one by one, because it makes it easier for us to follow you versus us trying to read it while you and not listen to you. I pick up some good tips about how leaders intentionally set a culture. I like that. The slides I thought were very helpful. It was a good addition to your speech. Some points I felt like the slides had too many words on it and it was difficult to follow. Like that one slide about Bob Berg and John Mann. There was so much on there, I didn't know what to focus on. And I'm not quite sure if I missed something, but I didn't know if you mentioned about that slide, but I saw it up there. I loved how you brought in Corey as an example. We're very fortunate to have Corey part of our team, and he's here today, so that's fantastic. And I'm really glad how you personalized it and you made it even more relevant to the audience. Your eye contact was fantastic. I did notice towards the end, it looked like you were looking more towards the upper right. I didn't know if there were notes there or what, but in general, it was good eye contact. The flow was excellent, easy to follow. And I also liked at the end how you brought in Vince Lombardi back and with another quote. I would have liked to see just a little bit more. It felt like it was a little abrupt, maybe because you knew that the time was starting to become red. But I did like how you circled back, and I also liked how you challenged us to think about our own personal style. So you added some action towards your speech at the end. Thank you. Back to you, Stacy.
Thank you, Deanna. Can we get a timer's report for the
I forgot to tell someone to time me for the evaluator.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to.
But
You probably did.
Deanna qualified.
Okay.
Qualified.
All right.
I'm sure you did
I
too.
You qualified, Patrick.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You qualified. Okay, moving right along. Keep in mind who you want to vote for evaluator, and we'll send those in the chat at the end. The next thing that we like to do is table topics. It's one of my favorite things. So I'd like to introduce our table topics master, Stacy Bacon. How's that? Little transition there. I love table topics. And so our word of the day is complexity. And the theme of the day is game day. I hope everybody here likes games. So the word of the day, complexity, the meaning is the state or quality of being intricate or complicated. So if you get chosen for table topics, make sure you use that word in your table topics. And I always like to ask our guest, Kathy, would you like to participate? Or you wouldn't be the first one asked. We would have somebody else go first. But if you want to participate, you can. If you don't, that's fine too. Okay. I would say that looked like
I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch.
Oh,
Listen.
you're gonna watch. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You don't need participate. So games aren't just for kids. They are for everyone. Perhaps you and your family played cards such as solitaire, rummy, or poker, or maybe it was Monopoly or Yahtzee. How about Scrabble, Uno, Jenga? Then there's board games such as checkers, chess, backgammon. There's also Trivial Pursuit, Game of Life for the really serious game players, Dungeons and Dragons. Have I stirred up any memories yet? Most games require a strategy, while some are just simple and you don't get to use much brain power. I just learned about an Asian game called Go, which is thousands of years old, and it's so hard to win that even a computer program has trouble beating the top competitive players. So my questions for you all, I'm going to start with Lawrence. Lawrence, and remember to unmute. Do you play games in your household? If so, what kind of games get played mostly? And when you lose, how do you react? Are you competitive?
Oh
Give a
my.
hand. Hard one.
Oh my. I don't play games in my household.
But have you in the past?
Well, I'm sharing a house with two other guys, and our schedules don't really allow for much interaction on that level. You know, there's just too much complexity in our lives to work with that. However, the flip side of that is through some of the organizations that I work with, through Transitions Collective and Project Rebound at CSU San Marcos, we've been doing a Jeopardy kind of trivial thing through Zoom, which is interesting to say the least. It has various pieces and parts to it that make things fun. But in general, I enjoy games, but more on a social level than an individual level. I'm not really much into the electronic video games and the phone games. I would much rather be face to face across the table and watch everybody else and have some conversation along with the game. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. That was perfect. And I really didn't want to bring electronic games into this because that's another whole ball of wax. I'm more of the old-fashioned type of, like you are. I like to sit, in front of somebody and play a game. My second question is going to go, is Lisa there? Can you unmute yourself if you're there? I don't see you, but maybe we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I have a lot of distractions in my house today.
Oh, that's okay. I totally understand. Lisa, I have a question for you. Do you find that some of the older games, such as Monopoly, are outdated and that you don't like them anymore? Or would you agree that it's a great way to teach your kids about the real world?
Stacy, I just love that question because I am the queen of Monopoly and I'm a strong believer in capitalism. I love Monopoly. Nobody can beat me in Monopoly. And even when my kids were little, I showed no mercy on them because I believe the perfect way to raise your children is in a ruthless manner. Teach them to buy everything they can buy. Teach them to only sell at a higher value than what you paid yourself. Put houses and then hotels on every bit of property that you own and totally wipe out the other players. And I like Monopoly because the complexity of that game is very minimal. It's really about rolling dice, landing on something, buying it, and then making deals, wheeling and dealing. But I'm going a bit far. When my kids were little, I didn't totally demolish them. But I do love Monopoly. I think it has a role as a game for everybody today. Sometimes it can drag on, so it's good to put some time on that game, like Uno, which can go on forever sometimes. But no, Monopoly has a place in our world. Keep it.
Thank you. Excellent. I love that answer. Very good. So Corey, I believe I'm going to get you next. Have you ever gambled in a casino by playing cards? Was it poker, blackjack, or some other card game? How did you do if you did that? If you didn't do it, why didn't you do it?
That's a great question. I used to really like gambling. I'll go to Vegas or I'll go to an indie casino and play my hand at blackjack. I like blackjack. It's fast. It's quick, and you can get paid quick, or you can lose quick. But I don't like it anymore, to be honest. The last couple times that I've gone with me and my wife, we would start with the same amount of money, me and my wife, and she has a complex kind of system of analyzing the cards, and she's got this system, and she tends to win, and I tend to lose really quick. And so when I lose, then I just stand there because I only have a certain amount of money that I like to spend, and I just stand there, and it's extremely boring and frustrating when you don't have money and you don't want to gamble and your spouse is winning and you have to wait, and it's a challenge. So I don't like it anymore.
Okay, thank you. Great answer. I have a question for Megan. Megan, get ready to unmute yourself. Okay, my question for you is, my belief for playing games is to give the brain a workout. Would you agree that participating in game playing helps you to exercise your brain and help it to remain sharp?
Gosh, thanks for that question, Stacy. I believe that that playing games is one of the best ways to keep your mind active, and you are dealing with a lot of therapies, physical therapies and social therapies, as in taking turns, and great way to raise your children and have them learn to communicate and take turns and show respect. And I think that playing games is the absolute one of the best things that you can do. I love playing games. Tommy and I, actually, that's how we first we met it a little after Toastmasters, but then we met playing games at the coffee shop. So I think that playing games are a great way to keep your mind active.
Very
and
good.
A great way to raise your children.
All right. I want to move in. I love to play games. I have a question for Jerry. Jerry, I've never mastered or even had the urge to master chess. I've tried a few times. I didn't like it. Have you played chess or not? And why?
Yes, thank you for that question, Stacy. Chess is a game of complexity, and the complexity of chess is that you have to think several moves or quite a few moves in advance. And I have played chess. I cannot claim to be a chess master or anything like that, but I do enjoy playing it. And it is something that has a lot of depth to it. So meaning you could study it, you could really figure out your moves. And most people that are successful in chess, they have a set number of opening moves that they do to position themselves on the board. And that's usually the strategy to begin. And after that, it kind of evolves. But I found that from studying the opening moves, you can really move yourself up as a chess player quite quickly. So I would recommend that to anybody that wants to keep their mind sharp or be competitive, is to play chess, because it's not a game. It's not simple. It's not like checkers. It's chess. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer, Jerry. That was excellent. I just looked at my watch. I'm thinking we might only have time for more. And I know I can't get around to everyone. So I'm going to ask Angelus. Is that how you pronounce your name, Angela? Or is it Angela? Okay, Angelus. I have a question for you. What is your favorite game to play? Do you like to play with large groups or just one-on-one?
Thank you, Stacy. My favorite game to play is the one with the dragons and the stairs or ladders. What is it? I forgot what it's called, but I usually play it with my little brother. We've been playing that. He's actually 12 now, and we've been playing that game ever since he was like 6. So it's like our game, and it's one of the games that has brought us together, like more closer together. We could play Monopoly or any other games, but that's the only one that we usually like playing.
Okay, thank you. Great answer. How about one more? I think I'll squeeze one more in. How about Lucille? Lucille, we're all so busy these days. Do you have time, or do you take the time to play games every so often? Has the lockdown reincarnated the urge to play games again?
Thank you for that question, Stacy. Not in the current state. I don't play games right now. I'm way too busy. But when I was a kid, we used to play games, and the games that I like already, Jared mentioned, is chess. And I'm not so good at it, but my brother was really good at it. And I would like to play it because it's complex, and he's a very smart guy, and it's very complex. And because he's so good, I want to play with him, but he would never let me win whatsoever. So I hated him for that, but I keep playing and I keep losing and I keep playing and I keep losing because it's so complex, and I try to anticipate his moves, but I could never figure it out. So he's always ahead of the game. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're in my club. I don't really care for chess either. So at this point, I'd like to ask for a timer's report on how everyone did with their time. Pat.
Yeah, everyone qualified.
Excellent. And then the group, did everyone use the word of the day?
So
Lucille.
the people that use the word of the day are Lawrence, Lisa, Jerry, and myself.
Oh, okay. So now if you would like to send your votes, and then you can vote for speaker, evaluator, and your favorite table topics. The table topics people are Lawrence, Lisa, Jerry, or Lucille. So just put that in the chat box, and we will move on to, I hear something coming through, not sure what it is. Like to move on to the call for reports while we're doing the ballots. Okay, the counter, Angelus.
Do I start from the beginning, like everything, or is there a certain thing I have to start with first?
If you want to mention everybody, you can. If you've taken notes on that, if you haven't, just mention the ones that you heard. That's fine.
Okay. Well, for Stacy, I heard 2 so's. I wasn't really paying attention to you, like for the words until later. Jerry, oh, nothing. Devin, for the speaker number 1, I heard 8 so's and 2 you knows. Anita, 1 ah, 1 so. Pat, 2 likes. Nothing for Deanna. And then Lawrence, 5 us. Corey, 3 us. And he repeated very, very, like twice. And then Megan, 1 3 ums, 1 so, and 1 you know. And that's it.
That was very good. That was thorough enough.
Thank you.
Very good. Grammarian, Lucille, would you like to give us a grammarian's report?
Thank you, Stacy. I did not hear any improper use of the English language, but I have noted some creative use of words. I would like Devin said, never say never. Fantastic. Embrace change, and benefits are tremendous. For Anita, she said charisma. Leaders are made, they are not born, which is actually Toastmasters slogan, where leaders are made. So that's very good. Cornerstone, it creates that imagery, that word cornerstone. Empowering others, servant leaderships. Deanna said set intentions, and Jerry, I heard him say the players have an opening strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, our general evaluator is on the phone. Well, she's getting off the phone, so.
Sorry, my physical therapy came through. Sorry about that. Are you ready for my report, Stacey?
You're ready for your report.
Okay, well, everything was wonderful. Stacey is an amazing Toastmaster, and I really enjoyed, especially you introduced the speakers correctly, the way that Toastmasters recommend in a double style. You picked great words, great questions, you didn't rush. I do think we ran out of time a little bit, which is kind of a shame because we started on time, really nice, super friendly opening and everything. There was an awful lot of what we call housekeeping and information with the grid. And I don't know, I mean, we need to know all that pathway stuff, but I think maybe it seems a bit like school, a bit dry and a little bit uninteresting when we have guests. I would rather we kept that for the end and let the guests see us beginning. In fact, my recommendation is to begin with this great table topics, which is what Paul calls the old school approach. I think that's the ideal way to begin the meeting and start other stuff later. We did hear about the speech contest and some other interesting stuff. I made a lot of notes that I can't read anymore. I would like to have heard a little bit more from the speaker, the first guest, to speak a bit more about who she was at the very beginning. We usually do that. But aside from that, great speeches and everything beautifully done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angel. You do such a thorough job. Very good. And last but not least, Corey, our watcher, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Stacey. I love this job. I love this role because this is our platform, right? This is how we are showing our face, and this is how we're doing the public speaking is what you see. So I love this. I would say the best background goes to Lisa. I think you have a really nice, pleasant background. The best dress, Devin, you look very pretty today. Best light, I think goes to Jerry. Jerry has really good light. There's 3 elements to, I think, the online presence: the camera placement, and I just did a Zoom kind of meeting, I guess, not too long ago, and they said change the camera from different locations. You don't have to be always looking in front of your laptop. You can change it around. So try that. Try different angles, and then the background, focus on something that's pleasant to look at. I don't know if this is the best example, but just be conscious of that. And then the camera and the microphone, make sure that you have, you know, a good camera and microphone, that you clean the camera so that it looks good. But I think everybody did a great job.
Very good, Corey. Okay, my job is done, and I hope everyone had a good time today. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to our president, Deanna. Thank you.
All right, that was fun. Good job, everybody. Great talk, great table topics and great speakers. If we can take a real quick picture, I think we're gonna post the winners of today's session. So, Lucille, did you want to do a screen capture, or maybe Devin can do it?
You're muted.
Okay, all right. So if everybody could just smile. We'll just smile right now.
Thank you, Devin. My computer is not working for some reason. It's not doing it. So
okay.
Everybody smile.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thanks. And quick housekeeping, I forgot to ask if it's okay to record. So is there anybody that didn't want us to record? Just raise your hand. Are we all good? Okay, all right. And I want to congratulate Devin again for completing her 5th level. And what we're starting for the first time, we're gonna be giving out $5 Amazon gift cards for people who finished their level. Not the path, but the level. So that's gonna be a little giveaway. And I'm gonna go ahead and look at, share my screen. And let's pick let's see, do our roles for next week, the 28th. Let's see, we need a table topics master, speaker, evaluator, grammarian, timer, general evaluator, joke master, watcher. If anybody can shout out their names.
I'll be a joke master.
Is that you, Stacy?
Yes.
Thank you.
I can do table topics.
Cool, thank you. Speaker, evaluator, grammarian, timer, GE. Okay, we'll put it online. All right. I wanted to ask Kathy if you wouldn't mind sharing with us what you thought of our meeting today. That'd be fantastic.
I think it was great. I kind of wanted to participate in the tabletop. I was like, all right, I wanted to play. So I really like it. I think it was very, very good interaction. I enjoyed how everybody gives constructive ideas of how they can do this and not do that. And I really like it. It made me feel really comfortable, and I'm hoping that I can come again. Am I invited, or do I have to give up my dog or something to join?
You can come every week. Would love to have you back.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, yeah, it'd be fantastic to have you. So, and invite anybody else that you'd like to invite as well.
And then I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what point do I start taking jobs or whatever.
You can do it next week.
I'll talk to Stacy about it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, we'll send out the application to you and Angelus as far as the membership application.
Super.
And Angelus, congratulations for. I'm sorry, Kathy. Did you have anything else to say?
No, thank you. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And Angelus, did you want to say anything? This is your second meeting with us, and you dove right in and did the avocado roll. Anything that you wanted to comment? Would love to hear from you.
I'm really excited to see what else I can do with this club. I mean, it was my first time doing all counters, so I hope I did that okay.
You did a fantastic job. It was perfect.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm sorry, Angel, did you have
I do, yes. I have something I meant to mention before, and it was just a bit of a disaster just now. Once we start screen sharing, people can't chat and they can't unmute themselves. So if you want people to shout out, tell everyone to unmute themselves before you screen share. Because I was trying to unmute, I couldn't do it. I just disappeared instead. But I've noticed this before, that if we want to actually chat or use our tools, we can't do it during a screen share.
Okay.
So just wanted to mention that.
Ah, okay. And
the winners.
The winners.
I sent it to you, Stacy. I don't know if you saw that or.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Lucille.
Oh, I see. Okay, I have it.
I thought you're supposed to send it to Deanna, but it doesn't matter. Stacy.
No,
Okay.
no, that's fine.
Okay, I can go ahead and announce those. Devin and Anita tied for best speaker. Deanna was the best evaluator. Yay! And our best table topics, Corey and Lisa tied. So we have a lot of ties today. Yay!
Awesome job.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. I will bid you all a fantastic weekend. Stay cool. And we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well done, Stacy. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.